Welcome to OneFortyOne New Zealand Kaituna Sawmill. OneFortyOne takes health and safety seriously and has a duty of care for you, all our employees and everyone who enters our site. Our company's safety pledge is home safe and well. This means your health and safety is a priority. We want to be sure you understand what is expected of you when you are working in the log yard area at Kaituna Sawmill. Our log yard includes the log truck unloading area, the scaling and quality control area, and the residue collection area. Please pay attention and listen carefully. If you're not sure about what is expected of you after you've watched this video, please seek clarification from your manager or the person who is hosting you on your visit to Kaituna Sawmill. Every incident that occurs at Kaituna Sawmill is seen as a failure of our systems and processes and must be reported before you leave the site. We appreciate you taking the time to watch this induction video. As soon as you arrive on site, you are required to clock in via the electronic login facility before proceeding onto the site. There are electronic login facilities located at the front office and at the weighbridge office. These provide an important means for tracking people who are on site in the event of an emergency. When you are preparing to leave the site, you must also use the electronic facilities to log out. This is important so that we know that you have left and do not try to locate you on site in the event of an emergency. Before you enter the log yard, you must contact the loader operator. To communicate while on site, use Forestry Radio Channel 7 or Site Radio Channel 2 or CB Channel 11. If you do not have Channel 2 or 7, please either use Weighbridge Radio Channel 2 or change to CB Channel 11 to communicate directly to the loader operator in the log yard. Everyone working on site must comply with the site's personal protective equipment requirements. This is to provide protection from the key hazards that we have identified on site. You must wear a hard hat, hearing protection where indicated, safety glasses, a night standard high-vis vest and safety boots. Gloves will be required in some instances, depending on the activities involved. There are many hazards associated with sawmilling, especially if you are unfamiliar with particular parts of the operation. This video discusses how to stay safe and operate according to the site rules, with particular reference to the log yard area. The log yard starts at the log truck unloading zone and continues around the back of the debarker and around the sawmill to behind the chipper area. The loader operator is in control of the movement of traffic and people around the log yard at all times. Please remember, no pedestrians are permitted in the log yard area. Only exceptions to this are if the following procedures are followed. Contact the loader operator via radio or wait to signal the driver over. There is a radio with channel 2 set up in the weighbridge login hut that can be used for communicating with the loader operator. Do not enter the log yard until the loader operator has stopped, has lowered the beak of their loader to the ground, is out of the loader and has signalled for you to enter. No one is permitted to walk around by the debarker log deck. When this area needs to be accessed, this can only be done by approved OneFortyOne staff or approved OneFortyOne contractors, and the debarker zone must be locked out beforehand. Therefore, this is a no-go zone for truck drivers, residue and logs. You must always use the designated walkway if you're on foot in any area at Kaituna Sawmill. You must go directly to and from the areas you're required to access. Deviating from the designated walkways may put you in a vulnerable position where there is a high likelihood of accident or injury. Please be diligent. Stay in your designated area and use the walkways. If you are coming to the site in a vehicle, enter the site via the main entrance with your vehicle headlights on. Use your indicators as you travel through the site. This indicates to other mobile plant your direction of travel. Your speed must be limited to a maximum of 10 km per hour. Please be aware of other vehicles in the area. It's important that you understand the hazards that you need to be aware of when working in the log yard. The hazards that you may encounter can range from minor to potentially fatal if the interaction between the site plant and people is not managed carefully. Throughout the site, you will see clear signage to advise you about specific hazards or no-go areas. Always follow the instructions on the signage. If you're not sure what to do, keep clear and take advice before proceeding. Machinery that's moving, such as forklifts, loaders and trucks, in the log delivery and timber dispatch area is the most significant hazard on site. That's why it's so important that you keep to the designated walkways and give way to mobile plant at all times, especially when leaving the walkway. And you must also wear your high-vis night glow PPE. Always assume that the operator has not seen you until they acknowledge your presence and signal you to proceed, or until they have driven clear of your location. Always take a safe position and only proceed if you are absolutely sure it's safe. It is vital that you communicate your intentions via radio before you leave a designated walkway if you are entering an operating zone for forklifts or other moving plant, such as loaders or log trucks. Dust can be a problem, especially in spring and summer. Prolonged exposure to wood dust in particular is a known threat to your respiratory system. Where possible, wear a dust mask and safety glasses if necessary to minimise any problems. Noise is a hazard that is particularly associated with our industry. Hearing protection is advisable in operational areas, especially where prolonged exposure is part of your job. If in doubt, wear hearing protection at all times. Uneven ground is a common hazard, and you should be aware of where you are walking. The ground underfoot may not be what you're expecting. Machine entanglement is another common hazard across the site. No truck drivers are permitted to enter lockout zones. These zones are indicated by a sign that says, "Danger, do not enter," or "Lockout." Log piles are a hazard in the log yard. You must keep a 6-metre distance from log piles if a loader is not operating in the yard. You should not be on foot in the log yard if a loader operator is operating in the yard. It's very important that traffic moves anti-clockwise from the weighbridge to the log yard area around the workshop in order to keep people safe and to keep trucks, loaders and other equipment moving efficiently. If you are driving a log truck, it's important that you contact the loader operator on Channel 7 for clearance to move through to the unloading zone before you move off the weighbridge. If you're driving a residue truck, it's important that you contact the loader operator on Channel 2 or CB Channel 11 while you're at the weighbridge for clearance to move through to the loading ramp at the back of the sawmill. Please remember that no trucks are permitted to stop outside the workshop. It is the responsibility of the loader operator and truck driver to ensure the following safety rules are followed when unloading trucks. Chains can only be removed in the designated unchaining zone. This zone is outside the 6-metre zone of the truck being unloaded. All drivers must wear the required site PPE when you are outside your truck cab. Drivers can only proceed to the designated unloading area when instructed to by the loader operator. The loader operator will direct the driver as to where to position their truck for unloading. The loader operator must not unload logs past or over the cab of the truck during unloading. When the truck is being unloaded, the driver must be in the safe zone. The safe zones are out of the truck cab and standing in the shed marked designated safe zone. Unloading must stop immediately if any person is fewer than 6 metres away from the unloading area. The loader operator must give their approval before anyone comes closer than 6 metres of the unloading area. Prior to anyone coming closer than 6 metres of the unloading area, unloading must stop and the loader's grapple or forks must be on the ground. Loading can only start again when the person has returned to the designated safe zone. If the truck driver cannot be seen or is not in the safe zone at any time during unloading, unloading operations will stop until the driver is visible in the safe zone. No person may work on any part of the truck or trailer while the loader is unloading the logs. These procedures apply at all times of the day or night. After your logs have been unloaded, you must follow our site procedures to set up your back trailer before driving off site. The loader should be stationary with its beak down or further than 6 metres from the truck driver while the driver is preparing the trailer to be lifted and set up onto the front trailer. The loader operator and truck driver must communicate via radio or hand signals that the area is clear. The loader operator will check that the truck driver is in the safe zone before entering the 6 metre zone to lift the trailer smoothly to reduce trailer sway. Do not position the truck or move the trailer around under a suspended load. The loader operator will give a clear signal to the truck driver that they can turn the drawbar. The trailer must be no higher than chest height from the ground while the drawbar is turned. When the trailer is being hooked into the coupling, the driver must be in a position where the loader operator can clearly see the drawbar and the tow coupling. It's important to note that if the trailer is being rotated right, the trailer can be moved around on the concrete pad. However, if the trailer is being rotated left, the truck must be moved for the loader to lift on the opposite side to where the driver is standing. There is a designated area behind the sawmill for scaling and quality control activities. This area must be marked with cones and signs indicating that scaling is underway. These must be in position before you begin working there. It is important that you do not wander outside the designated area. If driving a vehicle to this area, you must park within the designated area only. As with anywhere on site, you must use the designated walkways to move to and from this area. There are some other activities in the area to be aware of that could pose a potential threat to you. The boiler loader will enter the chipper zone to collect chip and sawdust to fuel the boilers. Do not wander into this area, as you will be outside your designated work zone. There will be trucks coming to collect residue, and they will drive by the designated scaling zone. Do not wander into the residue loading area, as you will be outside your designated work zone. The residue loading area traverses the log yard, which means there may be further hazards. For example, when you interact with inwards goods before the workshop and before you enter the log yard, pedestrians moving around the workshop building, log trucks delivering logs, the loader unloading, contractors scaling logs, or the loader for the boiler collecting residues from the chipper. The residue loading ramp is classed as part of the log yard zone. This means that all the log yard safety procedures apply. There are also additional safety rules for the residue loading ramp. Do not climb on top of your truck trailers at any time. This includes when levelling your load or when pulling the truck tarpaulin over the load. Load levelling must be done using the loader bucket or the rake. The truck tarpaulin must be pulled over the load from the ground. We would now like to share some important information about our site evacuation procedures. In the event of an alarm activation, a continuous siren will blast, and the emergency will also be called over the radio on all channels. You must evacuate immediately to the emergency assembly point outside the main office. You must leave your truck parked where it is, taking note of where the loader is, and evacuate on foot. Take the safest route to the evacuation assembly point and register your presence with a warden. Wardens can be identified by their white hard hats. First aiders have a sticker on their hard hat. It is very important that you register with a warden. This is because someone will be required to go looking for you if you are recorded as on site but haven't been accounted for. All personnel must remain at the assembly point until clearance is given by the site warden or general manager. At Kaituna, there are 2 first response emergency kits. The first response kits are located in the first aid room, located in the porticom opposite the staff break room. These kits include a defibrillator, adrenaline for responding to an anaphylactic reaction, and an oxygen bottle. There are also several first aid kits on site. First aid kits are located in each work area, and all forklifts have a first aid kit. OneFortyOne has a drug and alcohol policy that applies to everyone on site. Being under the influence of or in possession of drugs and alcohol is not permitted on site. Testing is undertaken to ensure staff members are complying with this requirement. Smoking and vaping are also discouraged, but designated areas are available outside the break room for these activities. If you smoke, please be considerate of others and use the ashtrays provided. This keeps the area clean and tidy and makes it a pleasant place to work. We would encourage you to watch this video once a year so that you can keep its contents fresh in your mind, or in case we have updated content in the video during the past 12 months. OneFortyOne expects your cooperation and that you will comply with all the requirements outlined in this video. Please respect the site rules and company policies. They are an important part of getting you home safe and well. We would appreciate any feedback or observations you may make that may help us improve our work environment and our safety performance. Thank you for taking the time to watch and listen to this presentation.